Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Flash, Season 3, Episode 12. It's called Untouchable. Full spoilers for the episode. Connor, what happened in this episode?
It was basically making Wally go faster. Run, Wally, run, basically.
To an extent, I'd argue it's more about the phasing, but...
I mean, sure, but the whole thing is all about, okay, he needs to be faster because he's got to stop Savitar. And that's just, the phasing just happens to be the first step on the road to fastness.
Okay. It starts off with a race between Barry and Wally, and the trash talk was amusing, but more amusing was the betting back at HQ.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
And everyone was betting on Barry. Except
HR.
Except HR, who kept putting more money on, and then Barry won, of course, with a genius phase through a building that gave him the
Classic.
edge, which was fun to see. So HR having to pay up, or realising that he'd have to pay up, was deeply amusing. However, though, the funniest scene in this episode, if we're starting off with comedy...
It's got to be with the Cecile's daughter, right?
Yes, the dinner scene. Well, as I said, the coffee scene.
Coffee, yeah.
It's because there was so many of them around this big table. It felt like a dinner scene.
It did.
But yeah, so Cecile's daughter's here. So Joe's brought all of his kids, which includes Barry. Which the amusing thing is Barry was the only white person there. Everyone, it's like all one family, but Barry's just there on his own.
Yeah.
But she brings up that she likes Kid Flash, and then Cecile's like, "Ah, no, I think Flash is the real hero." And this debate about which Flash you side with comes up, and they're like, "Joe, which one do you prefer?" Which was
I was in stitches.
I was in stitches as well. But it was funny, right off the bat, and then Wally turns around and goes, "Yeah, which one do you prefer?" Oh, poor Joe. Oh, he's actually happy a supervillain showed up to.
Yeah, he's like, oh
ruin
my
his
god,
plans.
interrupted.
Yeah, jeez. No, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, we had this villain who makes people disintegrate basically by touching them, and he's killing cops that were cops in Flashpoint, but they aren't necessarily cops here.
Yeah.
Did they ever actually explain why?
But why they aren't cops?
No, not why. No, why is he killing? Like why? No, not why is he killing them, but why does he know to kill the ones from Flashpoint?
See, I thought the whole thing was when they got their Flashpoint powers, they got some of the memories.
Did Wally get his memories?
I guess not. I don't know. I just assumed that they did. Like, some of them must have done, surely.
Because we obviously get the scene where Cisco vibes to Flashpoint world.
Yeah.
And sees having it been arrested. I'm like, okay, right, that's the motive, but why does this Earth version, who now has his powers, want to kill these people?
Maybe when Alchemy was around, he could give them the memories as well as the powers.
Maybe. And Wally never got to that stage because he kind of self-inflicted his cocoon.
Because all the other Flashpoint villains that we saw earlier remembered, right? Like the very first one, he spoke about how, it was just Kid Flash over there.
True. So yeah, maybe they do get their memories. You're right. It threw me off because we haven't seen one in a while. It's actually been quite a while since we had one of these.
It has, yeah.
These Flashpoint villains. But so that's the villain who I don't think he himself was particularly good, but he did lead. His powers did lead to some good moments.
Yeah, I like his powers because it means that they get inventive.
Yeah, because they can't touch anyone, and it gives us again, Iris is pretty on point. I'm still liking her story for the most part.
Yeah, she's still convinced she's invincible for now.
Yeah, to an extent, and it kind of backfires a little bit.
Yeah.
But Wally, like being like, "Oh, I'm going to go and save her myself," is nice to see from him. It's nice that he's starting to get into
He's
that
been
realm of
proactive,
things.
isn't he? He's like, no, I'm taking the lead on this. I'm just going to do it.
He's being proactive. Obviously it backfires in his face, but it's nice to see him do that. It's also actually Joe's scene I kind of liked, and I didn't think I would like this scene if you'd asked me beforehand. But when Iris tells Joe that she's going to die in front of everyone, if you'd described that scene to me beforehand, I'd probably this will be like a really heavy drama scene that feels a bit forced or whatever.
It's his acting that sells it.
His acting, I think the music was doing a good job as well because it was a new piece of music. I think
Was.
I think it handled quite well. I think everyone's awkwardness about it as well, like everyone else in the room, it felt right. Everyone's
Yeah,
reactions were on point, so it didn't just feel. I think we're at a point now where we know these characters well enough, and the writers maybe more specifically know them well enough that they don't write them into places that feel unnatural. Whereas in the first couple of seasons, they might have had this forced bit here, this forced bit there.
yeah, like it made sense to hide it from Joe in the first place. I think
It
we
did.
already spoke about
Yeah,
that.
we said that when they first made that choice. We said, okay, sometimes this whole we need to lie about this. It's bollocks. It's forced drama. But that one made sense. Everything we know about Joe meant that made sense.
But there was too much stuff happening that they did have to tell him at some point.
Yes.
So that makes sense as well, and I think it worked well enough.
Yeah. So no, I actually quite like this episode. I think Flash is on a pretty good roll post Christmas.
I agree. It's
I
been solid.
I think it's held up. We got Barry phasing an entire train full of people
It's pretty cool.
to go through rubble.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then him just going, "Come on, Wally, I just did a train. You
Yeah.
could do a hand."
Yeah, and Molly phases through him because he realizes that his speedster blood will
Counteract his
Well,
powers, basically.
yeah, it'll just work because Speed Force, bro. Actually, speaking of funny moments, Wally's face when Disintegrate Man. I don't know what was his name. I can't remember.
Doesn't matter. We're never going to see him again.
Exactly, but when he like after he phases through him and he turns around and like puts his hand on, him, he's like, "Well, looks like you're done." Wally's looking his face as he looks down at him. Looks down at his hand. He's like, "Ah, would you look at that?"
And there's
really
the moment
cracked me
of
up.
relief of, "Oh, thank God," and then it's like, huh, "Yeah, we win."
That's pretty good.
Like that cocky thing that he's got.
Yeah. And then we get a tease at the end, of course, for the two-parter that's about to come up, which is the Gorilla City.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
So we're going to be seeing Earth 2 Wells again. We've already seen a quick glimpse of Jesse. We'll be seeing Grodd and all sort of manners of things. The unfortunate news is that you'll be waiting a week extra for this two-parter.
I mean, we got 3 in a row, 4 in a row. What? 3?
3.
It's better than I typically expect after Christmas.
And theoretically, there should be 5 in a row when this comes
After
back.
that, because we got the musical one dated.
Yeah, but I mean, they could always push that back. There's nothing to say that that's set in
They
stone.
could, but they did specifically say the date, didn't they? So it seems weird that they'd push it back.
It does, but
Unless something happens.
I don't
before
necessarily
change their mind.
I don't necessarily think it'll be pushed back, but it will not remotely surprise me. I think it's stupid to argue against it because honestly, I don't remember them doing 5 episodes in a row last year after Christmas ever.
I don't either, but they never said a date of something before either.
I know, but I think they were making an exception because it was a musical. But at the same time, I feel like their schedules are so like against the line, and they constantly have these little breaks that I could see them pushing it if they have to.
Maybe.
They might
We'll
not
see.
have to, but I wouldn't be shocked if they announced, oh no, that'll actually be a week later or 2
Well, I
weeks
mean, they're
later.
shooting the musical one at the minute because I saw set pictures this past week.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's shooting already, I think they'll be fine.
You're assuming that they're shooting in order, though.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Which I don't necessarily think is the case. I think part of getting cast from both shows probably means that they have to get creative with the schedule.
That's fair. Yeah. I hadn't considered that.
What else happened in the episode, Connor?
What else did happen? We had.
Oh god, you're terrible at this. I try and give you the
I
range
know,
for
I
10
know,
seconds.
But you throw me off because I'm not used to it. So then I was like, hang on.
Julian and
Yeah.
Killer Frost.
Yeah, that happened.
Caitlin is she's more commonly known.
You say that, but I'm thinking Iris being a silly bitch and letting herself get injured is one of those things that's going to lead to Killer Frost.
Wow, how did she let herself get injured?
Well, she didn't run away. She didn't try. She brought up her arm to him. She was acting on the invincible thing, is what I mean. Like, she didn't make an effort to get out of the way.
She didn't have much of a chance anyway. She was in the
She could have
apartment.
ran.
on her own.
She could have took a step backwards. She could have done anything to at least try, but she's so convinced that she even says, "I don't die today," like that she can't die, that she's fine. She's so convinced of that she doesn't even try.
But she's right.
Well, yeah, but my point is, I think that is one of those things that leads to the board being true. Because one of the things on the board was Killer Frost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time since Caitlyn got the necklace that she's taken it off to do her powers, and she had that moment with Julian where she kind of almost lost control.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if this is one of those things that is puts her back on the path to being Killer Frost, and in a way, it's a roundabout way because of Iris being convinced that she's invincible, and because the future is set that she's fine, is what causes it to happen.
Yeah, it's an example of fate. Like, it's always destined to happen. It's actually self-fulfilling.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't think that makes her a silly bitch, though. I think that was harsh.
I think it does. I think she just because she's like, no, I'm fine in the future.
How is she supposed to even know that the way they'll even counteract this if she gets hurt is that it'll be Caitlyn that has to use her powers?
No, I'm not saying that part she knows, but just because she's in the future and she dies then doesn't mean she has to be like, oh, I'm fine, I'll do anything.
Bullshit, I would be. And you would be too. And
No,
you're lying if you
no.
say you wouldn't.
And you wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
Well, look, maybe if you weren't actively trying to prevent the future from happening and had already changed something so you could prove that it could be changed. But they already did that they changed it to Kid Flash instead of Flash.
I'll be honest though, I don't necessarily think Iris was operating under the whole... like she says, I don't die today. But it sounds like she's trying to reassure herself. I don't think...
Nah.
No, this was nothing like last week where she walked up to a gun last week and didn't flinch. She was still scared in this scene.
I don't buy it. I think she's still on that same thing that she was from last week, where maybe we didn't see it to the
I
same
think you're
extent.
completely ignoring the acting in this scene.
I don't think
Completely
I
ignoring
am.
it. Yeah, you are.
The whole thing I'm convinced is that she's still convinced she's invincible, so that's why she doesn't make an effort.
She's
to
not
work.
as convinced though. Half the goddamn episode's her being worried because the restaurant's going to rename, which was one of the other things on the board. Her nerves are shaking. She's not as confident anymore.
Well, no, she's worried it's going to rename because that's what the board says it will do. So it's like, oh, it is going to happen. She's convinced. That's convincing her that it is locked in.
She is not as confident in that scene. Go back and watch it again. Her acting does not say the same as last week. It's not the same.
Well, the dialogue says otherwise.
She's trying to reassure. Read between the lines. She's reassuring herself.
Nah, she'd have run. She'd have moved. She's still operating under that assumption that she's okay.
You're wrong. Let's move on. What else happened?
So it ends with Caitlyn and Julian having their little moment.
Ah, yes. They're going out for a drink.
Yeah, wonder something going on there. Or is it just friendly drinks? Who knows?
Of course, there's something going on there. I wonder if something's going on. Have you ever watched a CW show before?
I know.
This is a shambles. I'm never letting you take the reins again. Jesus Christ.
Well, don't surprise me with it. You think it through in advance. You just set it on someone. Then they have to think.
Oh, dear. Aye. That was a fun episode. There were some funny moments. I thought the character stuff was all on point. I actually, despite your bickering at me about the scene, I actually quite like how Iris has been affected by the various events and how it's putting her through a turmoil where she is on this sort of roller coaster, where she was so confident last week to being shaken by the restaurant having to change, and then through the events of the episode and almost dying and all that stuff. I liked all that.
I mean, it was fine. It still just played like an extension of last week to me, though.
Oh, sure, but it felt on point. It didn't feel like it betrayed anything. I feel like I kind of expect this show to make weird sidesteps, and it didn't do that this week. It played out in a way that felt natural for all the characters, even if some of the sciencey stuff and whatever is bollocks. And
yeah, there's no point in questioning that at this point.
And the villain was like, whatever. Like, his powers made for some cool moments with the heroes, but himself is not that interesting. Yeah.
No, I agree, and I think it's like I say, it's been a while since we've had one of these Flashpoint villains, so it gets away with it because, I mean, when was the last one? It was before Christmas, at least, surely.
Oh yeah, it was way before Christmas. It was before the crossover.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think it's fine to have this villain here while they're just dealing with some character stuff, because we know we're getting a Grodd 2-parter. We know we're getting more Savitar stuff down the line that's going to tie into this whole future stuff. So
yeah, I've been reading accidentally stumbled across some theories this past week about who Savitar is, and I'm watching it in that light is interesting. So the common theories at the minute are that it's actually Wally, and the whole idea is that he gets faster and faster, and he does what Wally always does and gets lost in the Speed Force. But when he comes out, something goes wrong in his mind when he's in there, and he comes out as Savitar.
I can see it.
I can as well, and then I think it's interesting because obviously Barry's the one pushing him to be faster, and like in this episode especially. So
Well,
I could
again,
see
it's just that self-fulfilling prophecy
Yeah.
thing where everything you're doing to try and prevent the future is leading to that future.
exactly, and I think that could be an interesting angle if they go that way. I think it's enjoyable watching it with that perspective if it is that.
And the funny thing is, you can't criticize the characters at all for this because we know what they're doing is kind of leading them down certain paths, but we could say, all right, the best thing to do in this situation would be to just get in a room with lots of food, hunker down, lock yourselves in for 4 months, right? But who's to say that in their situation, if they did that, that would be the thing that leads to the future because that would lead to like it's
No, that's fair.
that said, I think the running favourite is still Eddie.
He's coming back, so it's got to be.
Like what I did there, running favourite.
I did. Wasn't bad. Getting better with his puns.
Oh, I'll do some puns for you. All right, that's that's this week's Flash. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff helps us out a lot. Thank you very much for watching. Get us on Twitter at @mailed_fuzz. You can get our individual Twitters on the screen. Let us know your thoughts and theories about what's going on, and we'll see you next time.